You're listening to Titans of the Trades. I'm your host, Ryan England, author of Hire Better People Faster and creator of the CoreFit hiring system, a proven process to help growing companies attract and retain only the best. I'm on a mission to revolutionize the perception of the trades and elevate it to new heights. After growing up in a blue-collar family, my passion for making the trades cool again runs deep. If you're a titan in the industry and want to be on my show, stick around until the end and I'll reveal how you can be my next guest. My name is Ryan England. I am the host of Titans of the Trades. Welcome back to another episode. Today, I sit down with Chris Petri. He's part of the Petri Plumbing family, and they've been around for over 100 years in one of the most hostile places for a non-union small business contractor, New York City. He is going to talk about his story, what they've accomplished, why they're doing what they're doing, and it's just so much inspiration. So many good lessons that we can learn so that we can be ready for the next generation to take over and really make an impact inside of the trades. Let's get started. Chris, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me.
So you've got, I've learned a little bit about you and your story, and you like stacking the deck, not in a good way all the time. Your company is over a century old. You're in New York, not exactly a place known for being welcoming to small businesses. Clearly, though, you're doing something right. You've been around for a century, non-union, and just really making a name for yourself and getting the word out of what it's like to be in the trades. And people are listening. So tell me a little about it. Give us a little bit of background. Tell me a little bit about Petri and where you're going and what you're setting out to do. Like, why get on podcasts? Why spread this message? What's going on in your world?
Thank you, and that's a great question. So the reason we've really gotten involved with kind of getting our message and our story out is to promote the idea of the blue-collar trades for younger generation. So Petri Plumbing has been in business since 1906. It's changed hands and faces, but it's always been a family-owned company. We've always done service and repair. So we've always been a small-time service and repair company. We've grown through the need for customers that desire high level of service and high value. In a place where we are, there are many, many options, from restaurants to doctors to plumbers to HVAC companies. So what we really did was stand out by offering the best and highest level we possibly could, and the growth just caught on from there. Year over, we've had a 30% growth. What we've really seen, though, is the labor pool that we're trying to attract from. What we're noticing now is a lot more younger generations are getting involved in the trade, and we love to highlight those stories, get that message out there. And even in a city like ours, where the white-collar industry is so dominant. I mean, when you think of New York City, you think of Wall Street, you think of finance. We want to get the message out there where there's the back end people. There's the behind the scenes people that make this city run too. That's the blue collar trades.
Absolutely. I know better because I'm very familiar with the industry, but I'm sure there are people out there going, how the heck does a plumber afford to live in New York City? Like, how is that even possible? And I think people forget that these are really good jobs, really high paying jobs, and they're needed everywhere. I mean, it was plumbers and mechanical and people that built New York City, and we got to maintain it. And that's what you guys are doing. Talk to me a little bit more about the younger generation. I know that's something that's important to you. I mean, you even mentioned rebranding because you wanted to appeal a little bit more to the younger generation. I just read an article that said that for Gen Z, which is like 26 and under, vocational trade applications are up like 16% year over year. Like, the younger generation is starting to see this as lucrative careers. Tell me what's going on in your world. What are you seeing?
Those are beautiful numbers to see, right?
Yeah.
So for a long time, we fell into the same trap that most people do, or most business owners in the trades do, which is there's a lack of workforce. There's a lack of workforce. And when we were hitting our growth, the one thing that was stunting us was filling shoes. And for, like I said, for a long time, we fell into that same cycle of, well, there's no good mechanics out there. There's no good mechanics out there. That's when we started to think, well, you know what? We've been in business for so long. Why have we been in business for this long? The value, the craftsmanship, right? Doesn't necessarily mean that's because someone's been in business for or been in the industry for 20 years that they have that same level of value and craftsmanship to their work. So we said, why don't we start building our own workforce? So we
Mm.
really started to attract the younger generation, the apprentices. We started to reach out to the local trade schools, started to reach out to the local high schools. It didn't matter if it was a public school or a private school. We reached out and just said, hey, listen, we want to get a chance to talk and show that in New York City, there is an opportunity in the blue collar trades where college is not the only option. And it really caught on like wildfire. We were hosting, before the pandemic started, we were hosting what we would call job fairs at our own
Mm-hmm.
office. So we do group interviews and bring everybody in that had no experience and get one big chance to have a conversation with everybody. I mean, we were having upwards of almost 100 people coming in every single time we did it, almost bi-weekly, to interview for an apprentice.
Wow. Wow. So, I mean, people want these jobs. I mean, that's clear. I believe we have a labor crisis in the trades. I don't think we have a labor shortage in the trades. I know people want these jobs. I think part of the problem is they go and they talk to your competitor, or they talk to someone else in the industry, and they're like, well, if you don't have 5 years experience, I don't have a role for you right now. And everybody wants the guy with experience that knows the trades inside and out, and they don't want to train them. But you've said, no, we're going to do something different. We're going to train these people. And I mean, it sounds like they're flocking to you and saying, yes, train me. I want to learn this.
I'll give you one. New York City spacing is very limited, right? So even 2 square feet, 3 square feet, you'd be surprised what people would do for that kind of spacing in their apartments and their living space. We're upgrading our location. So we're actually going to a smaller location, more centralized to our client base. But out of the only about 2,500 square feet that we have in our office, 1,500 square feet is being dedicated to a new training room that we're going to build. Because
Wow.
we said this, there are a lot of ways to do the same job, but there is only one Petri way. And we're going to teach them that in the office. And that's what we're going to do. We're going to train, no matter if you're green or you've been in the business for 20 years. We're going to teach them how we do it and get that level, that value level as high as possible. And it all came down to that same idea, which is training. Whether they're green, they're experienced, get them in there, show them this is the way we do it.
Wow. Now, we're talking a lot about the trades, and we're talking about these are great careers. There's opportunity everywhere. Tell me a little bit more about Petri. Why would someone say, you know what? I want to go sit in that 1,500 square foot training room and learn the Petri way. I want to know why it is. Tell me about Petri. What makes you guys so different?
I think what makes Petri so different is kind of corny and cliche, but it's true, which is we've always been a mom and pop shop. Even when our owner first took over the company when he was younger, it was a large company back then. They did new construction. They had 100 employees, 120 employees at any given time, but he still ran it like a family-owned shop. He knew every single person that worked there. He knew why they were there. He knew what they liked. And you see it today because a lot of the people in the plumbing industry in New York City, whether on the buying side, the vendor side, they have some type of connection to Petri Plumbing. I mean, guys will come in and say, I worked here for, in the 80s. I worked here in the 90s. I used to sell to you guys in the 80s. And they say the same thing. Everybody was treated like family. From Michael to his brother Gerard to their father Peter, everybody knew every employee that came in, every vendor that came in, treat them like family. And then when they slowly transitioned onto the home service side, the same thing with clients, and it caught like wildfire. Everyone just assumed in New York City, everyone just wants the fastest, cheapest, easiest, but they don't. They want to be taken care of. They live in New York City. They have the best of the best in everything. They want the best of the best for their plumbers, their HVAC, everything. So we've done that too. We've created a whole client experience, and that's what our clients can continuously come back for. I mean, I kid you not. We have like 3rd or 4th generation clients that their grandparents' parents used us, and they just keep handing it down the generations. And it comes down to what Michael Petri has built as far as an experience and what you really get.
Well, and when I heard you talking, I just thought of this concept that we teach, which is we can all focus on that customer experience, that client experience. But if we don't focus on that employee experience, and the employees aren't happy, and the employees don't feel like family, they don't feel like we care about them or them, they're never going to be able to translate that to the client. But you've created that. You started with that first, which is we're going to create this amazing experience. These employees, these vendors, and everybody's going to feel like they're part of the family, like they're welcome here, like we want them to hear like they belong. And then that translates into taking care of those residential customers in particular, where they're like, I want you to come back because I feel like I'm part of that too. It's like that extension. I think that's fantastic.
One of the first things we do for new employees is we ask them their 3 favorite hobbies outside work, and we constantly follow up with them to make sure that they're having that life outside of work. And it's funny because I mean, we've gotten some super interesting ones. We've had rock climbers. We've had a lot of music people. We had Christian rappers that would tour up and down the East Coast on their off hours, a lot of family time, a lot of cars. But we tell them, look, you got to enjoy everything. You got to enjoy work. You got to enjoy it outside of work. So we try and make that a factor here at Petri Plumbing.
I love that you're intentional about that. I think so many people talk about being intentional about it, but you're actually doing it and making a deal. I love that you're asking about those hobbies, getting to know them a little bit more. Like it's really easy to say, oh, they have a life outside of work and then just dismiss that. But you're actually taking an interest in that, investing in that and saying, hey, you need to make time for those things. I mean, it's easy to say, go make time for your kids. If we know they have kids, that's an easy one, but those hobbies is so critical to not only keeping your employees engaged, but also supporting their mental health and their time to be able to have a break away from the office and the chaos. And last time I checked, New York City is not known for being slow or slowing down. So you guys are nonstop over there. What's the next chapter in the journey for Petri? Like where do you see this going? What's the future look like? And how do you plan to get there?
So the future for Petri Plumbing is pretty clear for us. If you were to take the largest cities in the country, New York City is number 1. Everyone knows that. But what no one really realizes is that if you took Brooklyn, which is only a borough in New York City, and you said, you know what, I'm going to call it a city, like the 2nd or 3rd largest city in the whole country. And it's a very small area.
Wow.
And that's where we're located out of. That's where our bread and butter is. But what we're really looking to do is to show the people of New York City that service doesn't have to just be good outside the suburbs. Or in the suburbs, and outside the city, that we can still show that 5-star service. Because there's always so many excuses, right? Well, people live in condos. They don't live in houses. There's no driveways. There's all kinds of things that add up. And what we've learned after 118 years is those aren't reasons why good service doesn't get done. It's excuses. So we've nixed them out. We've cut them out of our vocabulary. And we're committed to keep treating each and every client like they are a member of the family.
Wow, that's fantastic. So focus on getting the younger generation. I see you doing that already through your branding. You're appealing to that younger generation that wants a career in the trades. So you're really thinking about the future here and really making sure that you continue this legacy that Petri is known for and has created. What's a piece of advice that you would give to someone listening to this that says, hey, you know what? That sounds great, but 118 years in business, a place where you can charge more, like all those beliefs that people have. They're listening to this right now and saying, can't be done. I don't know how to do it. What piece of advice would you have for them to really embrace this new generation coming up and start attracting more people into the trades?
Sorry. The best advice I can give is one that we hit ourselves about 5 or 6 years ago when I first came to this company, which is if there's any market where you're going to make a ton of excuses why things don't happen, it's New York. There's a reason why they say if you can make it here, you can make it anywhere. But I mean, we compete with such a high demand for the white collar industry. I said it before, but I'll say it again. You think of New York City, you think of Wall Street. You think of the movies, you think of the glitz, you think of the glamour. You don't think of the backstage people. You don't think of the blue collar trade people. And yet we're able to do it. We're able to hold hiring events and get people in the door because we're showing them that, yes, there is a glitz and a glamour to New York City, but somebody had to build it. Somebody has to maintain it.
Yeah. Oh, that's so true. Yeah. It's so easy probably for you to come up with excuses. Like it's too expensive here. Plumbers can't afford to live here. HVAC techs can't afford to live here. There's no place to park. Oh, the windshield time would crush us. You know, all these things that I could think of. You could come up with all these excuses. And you're like, nope. Connect with people so they feel like they belong part of the family, to take that and translate that to the client and the customer, make sure they feel that same experience. And you said they come back for 4 generations.
Yeah, we have one client who at this point is a 4th generation client. That's the oldest we have. Their grandfather's father used our owner's grandfather's father. We actually have hanging up in our office an invoice from 1906.
Wow. Some people are like, I would just go for 2nd generation, and you're counting into 4s.
Yeah.
Chris, this has been great. I love the story, and I love the focus and the commitment to really getting out in that younger generation, because that's what we need. I mean, if you haven't heard this stat, it's scary, but 40% of our tradesmen and women are going to be retiring here in the next 5 to 10 years. And whew, we got
all that is an opportunity.
Absolutely.
I go to my old high school, my alma mater, which is a private school in Manhattan. And I mean, these are kids who they're prepping for college every step of the way. But there are still 5 to 10% of them that are not going to go to college, and they're worried and they're scared. Their parents are on their backs. And I try and tell them, look, the blue collar trades, the backbone of it is leaving the workforce shortly. They're going to need a new backbone. And as a company of a lot of former athletes, we tell them, doesn't matter if you're a freshman or a senior, if you're ready to step into that role, you can step into it. The blue collar trade is a great opportunity for it.
Wow. Well, Chris, I've really enjoyed this. If someone listening wants to just do a little bit of stalking of what you're doing over there at Petri and go, I want to see what they're up to, I want to follow them a little bit, how do people get a hold of you? How they learn about you? Tell us how easy it is to get a hold of you.
So it's really simple to get a hold of us. You can log on to our website, petriplumbing.com. You can get on there. You can see all the information about us. You can see some previous recordings we did as well. Again, promoting the blue collar trades for younger generation. And for anybody out there who is curious about the blue collar trades, has a relative, a son, a lot of times I have those conversations with fathers about their sons getting into the trades and worried about, can they make it? If you can make it in New York as a plumber, you can make it anywhere as a plumber. Feel free to shoot me an email. My email is very simple. It's just Chris, CHRIS, @petriplumbing.com. Our company name. Let me know. I can help out.
Chris, thank you so much for being on the show today. It was great to hear your story. I can't wait to share this with our listeners.
Thank you very much.
Ryan England here. Thank you so much for listening to Titans of the Trades. If you're a titan in the construction, manufacturing, or skilled trades industry and would like to be a guest on my show, please visit podcast.corematters.com. If you found value in this interview, would you share this episode on social media? Just do a quick screenshot on your phone and share it with a friend or post it on social. And if you know someone that would be a great guest, tag them on social media to let them know about the show and include the hashtag Titans of the Trades. I love seeing your posts and guest suggestions. We are regularly putting out new episodes and content. To make sure you don't miss any episodes, click the subscribe button. Your thumbs up, ratings, and reviews go a long way to help promote the show and get me one step closer to solving the labor crisis facing the industry. Want to know more about how we're doing that? Go to our website or follow me on LinkedIn. Thanks for listening.